Alright folks, so let's do a little bit of an overview about the basics of lighting and photography for your reselling stuff. We're here in my garage workspace. This is where I do a lot of the photography for the hard goods and stuff that we're trying to sell, like all the stuff that's behind me. So I just wanted to show you this because we already have this set up for lighting. Keep in mind, this is more of a professional lighting setting, and this is totally not necessary for people getting started or any kind of reselling, obviously. I have a background in film and videos, so I already had a lot of this equipment here. I think what's most important is having at least one light as opposed to no lights, just for a better quality of pictures for your reselling. So the most basic lighting setup, if you're going for real professional quality, is called a 3-point lighting setup, and that's what this is. So we've got one light here. This is our biggest light. This is a key light. This back here is my second light. It's hitting my back. This is a hair light or a backlight, and it's about half as bright as this light. And then the third light is actually this bounce screen, which I'm using to bounce the light from there back onto my face. So 3 points of light hitting me. This could also be another light like this, just dimmed way down, maybe about half as bright as the main light. And that's how you have a 3-point lighting setup. There's also a little colored purple accent light right down on the floor, and that's totally not even necessary. That's just casting a little color onto this to make the scene look a little more interesting. So this is an example of like a full setup. This is totally not necessary, especially if you're just getting started. So here's an example of how a product would look with that 3-point lighting setup hitting it. You've got the big one coming in from right here. You've got the bouncing light back on right here, and then the hair light, creating that nice edge glow around the edge, hitting it from the back. So I'm going to turn off each of these lights now, one by one, so you can see the difference that they make. So here's what it would look like without the bounce. Not a huge difference, but you can see if I bring the bounce in real close, you'll see the light. You can see the light from the bounce, especially right in here. And then take it away, bring it back, take it away. Now here's without the main light. So now we're just only seeing the backlight hitting it. It looks like really just like a harsh floodlight. That kind of look isn't going to be that appealing for products and stuff because it looks kind of scary and ominous that way. So we always want to try to fill in the light better with something bigger, like the key light. Now it looks like a professional photo. So let's see what it looks like with just the key light. So here's with the backlight turned off. So not too bad. It looks okay. It's a little dark, but you know, that edge light really gives it that nice pop. It makes it kind of like pop off the background and really look like it's something special to behold, you know what I'm saying? So when you're doing photography for a product, we usually just use our cell phones because it's the easiest way, and cell phone cameras are pretty decent these days. The first thing that you're going to want to do is get a good frontal photo of it, kind of like this. And we're going to use that to create our listing thumbnail. Tori and I like to use this program called Photo Room that's actually free to remove the background from the main listing photo so it's a white background. Then you kind of just come around all the different angles. You kind of just get pictures on all the sides. Make sure to take pictures of any flaws that you see, if any. And if there's any accessories or batteries or whatever, if it's a hard good, make sure to get any pictures of accessories and anything that comes with it. So I would do something like this. And then, part of Tori's process is she will measure the item and take a picture with the measurement. So this is about 8 inches by about 4 inches. And this is for when we do the packaging, we'll know how big the box needs to be. And then the last thing we'll do is we'll weigh the item. Now I have this neat scale that I can use. You might want to get something like this scale. There's also digital scales. Tori has one upstairs, which I'll show you that in a second. But this one's easy because it's a manual scale, mechanical, and it looks like this camera weighs about almost 1.5 pounds. So let's just take a picture of that really quick so we have that for when Tori goes to list this item. All right, let's go upstairs and check out Tori's setup. So here in Tori's office, we just have this one panel light. Now this is a newer brand panel light, as you can see, and this is actually dimmable. And you can also change the color temperature of this light if you want. Now, again, a light like this isn't necessary, but it's pretty handy if you're going to be doing photography like this a lot for your listings. This particular panel light, I believe, was less than $100 when we got it on Amazon. You can find cheaper ones. And like I said before, any light is going to be better than no lights when you're trying to do photography for reselling stuff. Also, this bar is like a tension rod light mount system that I bought. These were also $100. And this is from the brand Veripol. Also totally not necessary, but it helped to get stuff up out of the way so we didn't have stands and stuff around in our room cluttering the floor space. So yeah, any kind of light is good. A lot of people will get those ring lights. You see those a lot with vloggers and stuff. Those are relatively cheap, and they usually will come with a stand of some kind that you can just set up and use. And then over here is where Tori does most of her photography. I mounted this hook here in the wall. This is into a stud, and she just will set this light up, hang a garment there, take all of her pictures, and then she's done. We recommend using a white wall if you have one for this kind of thing, especially for clothing. We also use this section over here of the table if we need to set something on a table to take pictures of with the white walls behind it. Also, this is Tori's digital scale. I showed you my mechanical scale downstairs, but this one is nice because it's just a couple of buttons. You can change this to 0. You can also set this to metric, so like grams and milligrams if you want. We have it set to pounds and ounces. So this was only about $15, so not too expensive for a pretty good scale. One thing that sucks about this is it's small, so if you have any box or anything that you're trying to weigh that's large and it's gonna block this, it's very difficult to see what the actual weight is on something.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the process of photographing a hanging item. So I do most of the clothes, hanging items up here. And this is a Patagonia vintage jacket that we found at a Goodwill. So what I do first is, for the item that we get, I either will wash it, dry it, do that kind of stuff, or I will just steam it. And I have my steamer right down here. So I fill it up with water, and usually I try to do all of my steaming at the same time. And so I will just get wrinkles out and like clean this. So I have already done this, but you know, this is a steamer. It wasn't too much, just this small one. Maybe like 15 or 20 bucks on Amazon. So that's helpful. We've got the light that Ryan talked about. So one thing that I like about this is that you can move it. It's really squeaky, but yeah, so my more hard goods like bags, a lot of the times I will, or shoes, I will photograph over on this white space over here. But anyway, so yeah, for hanging items, I steam, and you know, I check the pockets. That's another really good thing if you get something at a thrift store or the bins, to just check. I found some weird things in pockets, so anyway, just be thorough with cleaning. And I will stand back here and take photos. So one thing that you want to do is I have an iPhone, so I go here and it's automatically at 4:3, and I just do it to square because that is like, those are the dimensions that these platforms favor. So I do that, and I'm like trying not to totally block the camera, but basically I make it look good. You can tap on the item and like make it brighter or darker. A lot of times with black items, I will make it brighter so people can see the details. But actually with a lot of items, I'll make it brighter. try to get the color the same, like as true to color as you can through this and any editing. I will photograph the front and the back and the tags. So like brand tag, size tag right there, and then the materials tag, which is on the interior. And any flaws that I might find, I'll take pictures of. I don't think this has any crazy flaws, but I try to be as thorough as possible. So even, I mean, little things like there's a little bit of wear on this button, like it's just a little bit worn. So I tried to be as detailed as possible because I want the buyer to understand the condition of the item they're getting. I don't want there to be any misunderstandings. So after I take photos there, I bring it over here to measure, and as I do, I notice some wear on the collar, which I will photograph to show. It's not a big deal, but I just like to be extremely thorough. And I measure the chest, like armpit to armpit, so classy sounding. So yeah, chest and then length. I've got this measurement tape to do that, and then I just press a button and it like goes back in, which is great. I created this, it's kind of Frankenstein-y right now. It's like a little bit messed up because I changed it. But it's measurements, and I just created a document and put like this on my label paper and put it on here. So I have measurements. The most detailed I will ever do, it's for a suit jacket. So it's chest across, length, waist, shoulders across, and sleeve, and pounds and ounces. Okay, so this is for pants. Measurements approximate, laid flat in inches, waist across, rise and inseam, and pounds and ounces. And measurements for jacket, so chest across, length, and weight. And so I just have a dry erase. I mean, it's dry erase, so I have a pen and I just erase it, and I take a picture of all the measurements. So after I measure the item, I fold it up and put it on our scale. For smaller items, I'll put them in our inventory bags first, but this is like kind of riding that line, so I have it hanging up in our closet. Looks like that is 1 pound and about 2 ounces. So I'll put that on there, and then I will take a photograph of the measurements and the weight. I like to get the weight of the item before or as I'm listing, because it helps with shipping, and I also like to get the measurements of the item because it helps people to like know the fit. And if they have a question for measurements, it's already there, so I don't have to pull the item out and like take time out of my day if I'm not doing this task. So that's really helpful.